wrinkles and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all.
Cell oil.
The perfect smoothness of writing. Which stapler to optimize efforts. How to organize papers and files in folders. The product that catches the consumer's eye. The right color tone to express feelings. Our consumers' needs are at the heart of every Deli product development, starting from the product concept and design. To achieve it, Deli has global design teams dedicated on all product aesthetic and functional requirements. From Tokyo to Stuttgart, our purpose is to be connected to worldwide trends and apply them in our product designs. Every product is developed in-house and is the result of deep design research, highlighting our reliability, know-how, quality and efficiency for office products, focusing on the attraction, the user-friendliness and the safety for our school offer. Matching Deli's different visual identities. This is how Deli has developed product for 30 years. This is what makes a world leader. Another key reason for Deli's worldwide success is our manufacturing know-how and large-scale production capacity. Starting from tooling, injection, stamping, surface finishing and assembling, all the company key processes are managed in-house. Has already stepped into the new automation generation, offering production with greater efficiency and stability. Each manufacturing step, product assembly, is strictly checked by the quality department, making sure every Deli product bought by the consumer shows our quality dedication. Deli today offers one of the widest product selections, covering 12 major categories, focusing on both office and school markets. We provide our customers with tailored logistics solutions, offering quick delivery service, great after-sales systems, flexibility by helping stock management, and offering flexible MOQs. From Dubai to Moscow, from Mumbai to Warsaw, from Chicago to Tokyo, our ambition is to touch worldwide office and school consumers. To achieve that mission, we also rely on our distributors' networks, covering more than 100 countries. With the help of our partners, we make sure that Delhi products and branding are well adapted to local markets. This is how we make sure that we fulfill the expectation of each and every Delhi consumer all around the world. Delhi's mission is to satisfy global consumers top quality, reliable, innovative and friendly products. Together with partners sharing the same beliefs, our purpose is to make office and school consumer life easier throughout the world. Delhi Office, your best office mate. Delhi School, so easy, so Delhi.
Hi, I'm Mel, and I am choosy. My ultimate skin goal is gusto kong mag-even out ang skin tone ko.
Hi, my name is Gian Anwada. My skin goals are to become whiter, fairer, healthier, and younger.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutasy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutasy.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2.
Okay, and we're live. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Irish Malonda, and I'll be your moderator for today. So welcome to the first ever e-learning session powered by Ariva Academy. Yan. And Ariva, we are already on our third enhanced community quarantine. And in Ariva, we believe that learning should never stop. So that's why we came up with this e-learning session for free. So that's it. This is our way of giving back to the society and to our participants. And with that, before we move on to our topic for today, which is manage anxiety and stress, mental well-being and coping during COVID-19. I would like first to acknowledge our participants all the way from these are international participants all the way from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Thank you for joining us. We have an attendee from Singapore, Malaysia, Noida, India, Mylapore, India. Wow, thank you for joining us today. From Palau, Australia, Dubai, UAE, and of course, Honolulu, Hawaii. Thank you for joining us. And now, before I introduce our speaker, I know that you are very much excited to meet him. Before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to say some few house rules, okay? So before we, in order for us to make the live webinar learning event successful and smooth flowing, we will be having a 5-minute break. This will be after the presentation of our guest speaker and before we move on to the question and answer, okay? For the question and answer guidelines, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by the administrator during discussion to avoid interruptions. Questions will be entertained after each topic of the session. For questions and clarifications during the provided time after each topic, just click raise button. The raise button with the hand below for the administrator to enable the microphone for live questions. Questions may also be given via chat, and one question at a time will be entertained. For comments and feedback, please scan this QR code for us. Please give us feedback for us to improve our future e-learning sessions. And now, I know you're very excited to meet him. He will be discussing manage anxiety and stress, mental well-being and coping during COVID-19 crisis. We have invited a celebrity psychologist, wellness physician, a life coach, and a counselor. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's all now welcome Dr. Randy Misael Dellosa. Dr. Randy?
Yes.
Yay, good
Yay.
afternoon.
Hello. Right. So I'm very glad to be here. I'm just a little bit sad because, of course, I want to see the people live, and I want to see you live. But here we are, kind of trapped in a way. Yes. But of course, thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you also for giving us opportunity to have you
Yes.
today. Ayan, sir. You may start your presentation now.
Okay. So let me start this. There. Okay, but let me start. Okay. Yeah. So the title of my topic is managing anxiety and stress, mental well-being and coping during COVID-19 crisis. Okay, but to start things off, I want to give you a situationer. If you see the map, if you look at the map, no, the dark areas are the ones that are more heavily infested, affected by COVID virus. So you see large areas where there are brown colors. See, the brown colors are heavily infested, and then you have the red and then the pinkish ones. And if you look at the Philippines, it's kind of pinkish. Okay, thankfully it's not yet as red or brown as the others. Diba? To date, the last time I read the news, no, is that there are 2,633 cases of COVID-19 in the Philippines. Di ba? That's a lot. 2,633. And then there had been 107 deaths and only 51 have recovered so far. So that's a sad thing that's happening right now in the Philippines. And all because of this tiny virus, di ba? This tiny virus has actually acted like a terrorist. Why? Because like terrorists, they have been stealthily moving, di ba? They have been silent in their attack, and they have been easily moving along. So the coronavirus can be like terrorists. But I also have to remind you that we ourselves can be such terrorists if we don't practice good hygiene. If we go around not washing our hands or uh, not wearing face masks or not covering our coughs or sneezes, then we are acting as accomplices or acting like terrorists ourselves. Okay? So look at this. This is the coronavirus. And you might ask, why corona? Because of the projections on the virus. If you look at the projections, they look like crowns. Okay? So this is a crown. But you know what? It's not really royal. This coronavirus has actually put on our minds a crown of thorns, rather than a crown of royalty. And this crown of thorn on our minds has actually caused us a lot of panic and fear. Diba? So I'm sure many of us have already gone to the groceries panicking, buying a lot of toilet paper, and now we have so much toilet paper, we don't actually, some of you might even be planning to buy more. But that's another whole seminar on why people who are panicking buy toilet paper. Okay? We'll wait for Ariva for that other seminar. Okay. You know how bad it is now in the Philippines? There's this person I read in the news from Angeles City who wanted to jump off the building just because he couldn't feed his family. So rather than take care of himself and get some food for himself, he would rather allow his family to survive. So that at least if there were little food, he would give it to his family. That's how bad it is, And most of us will be probably most of us attending this seminar, will probably be in the upper rich or in the middle class or in the little lower class, But think about all these people who are indigent and they don't have money or they don't have food. Where are they going to get food to eat? So that is the situation here in the Philippines. It's really bad. especially that the pyramid of the socio-eco class is greater for the poor, you know. And now the whole of Luzon has undergone enhanced community quarantine or ECQ, you know, and this has destabilized our minds, you know. The ECQ, what this has done of the quarantine, it's like it's pulled a rug underneath our feet, eh? And then we're all fallen to the ground, and actually it's very difficult to get up. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to ask, how is this quarantine affecting us? Obviously, we're isolated, diba? And it's like we're trapped in our own homes. Our own home is not a home because it's like we can't do too much. We're paralyzed, and because we're isolated, we're also bored to death. Okay, at least for many of us.
Doc, excuse me.
Yes.
Can you lower? They can hear you, sir. Can you lower the mic, sir? Sorry
Lower
to
the mic.
interrupt you. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. Okay.
Should I continue or should I backtrack? Okay.
One, sorry.
The other thing that quarantine has affected us in a negative way, no, is that where are we going to get money? Diba? Some of us have some money stashed, pero how long is it going to last? Kasi is the quarantine going to last for another month or more months or a year? Diba? Or 2 years? Where are we going to get money? Buti for us who have some money kept. But for people who are isang kahig, isang tuka, meaning people who live on subsistence daily, diba? Where are they going to get money? And thirdly, besides the isolation, besides the no money, is the uncertainty, diba? What can we expect? Who can we believe? What's going to happen? Eh yung mga doktor nga natin are also at a loss, eh, diba? More so the politicians who we listen to on the news. They're either bluffing, we know, or some of them have gotten sick themselves. And we're all scared of the unexpected, especially now that we hear about so many people getting sick or dying. The question now is it going to happen to our friends? Is it going to happen to our loved ones? Or is it even going to happen to us? So you see how bad the COVID-19 or the quarantine is affecting us. Diba? Now, I'd also like to say that not all people are handling the crisis in the same way. Some of us are handling it better, some are handling it worse. But what are the factors that influence the way we handle the crisis? Number one is, do you have an existing mental health or physical health issue? Kasi if you have a physical or mental problem to start with, the quarantine is going to be worse for you, di ba? Or for us who have it. Second thing is, meron ka bang pinagdadaanan o pinaghuhugutan? Because if you are going through some problem in your life, the quarantine is going to make it worse. This COVID-19 crisis is going to make it worse for you. What type of person are you? Are you the emotional type or the rational type? Many of us, mga Pinoy, Filipinos, are emotional. The more emotional we are, the more difficult it will be for us. Di ba? Not like for people who are rational-minded, they'll be more proactive. Pero if they're more emotional, they're going to wallow in their emotions first. And lastly, are you introverted or extroverted? If you're an introvert, you'll be able to handle the quarantine a little bit better. Kasi sanay ka na eh. You're already used to being by yourselves. Di ba? Pero if you're an extrovert and you like to meet people, you like to go to many places, you like activity, then it's going to be a bit more difficult for you. Just like Irish, she's an extrovert, I think. Okay. So she's going to have a more difficult time. Sana hindi?
Hindi naman masyado.
Okay. Because she's probably an ambivert. She can adjust. she can be introverted and she can be extroverted.
Yeah, I'm coping with it.
Right. Sige, emotional distress. What are we going through with this quarantine or crisis? Siyempre, a lot. Diba? Unang-una, there's the loneliness, there's the sadness, the fear, the anxiety, the irritability, the anger, the numbness, the stress, the confusion, the exhaustion. Now look at this, all of us are experiencing this. How about the other family members we live with? They're also experiencing this. And so our own angst is interacting with the angst of our family members. Madaling sabihin na, oh, this is a time for us to bond with our family members. Pero have you realized, we like some family members, we love some family members, but we don't like all family members. Some of our family members we even hate, and we're trapped now with them. Diba? And we have to realize that it's easier for our angst to be displaced, to be thrown off to our loved ones. Sa mga friends and co-employees, we're a bit more respectful Pero with our family members, we're a little bit more grouchy. Diba? I also want to share what are some of the psychiatric conditions that can come from COVID-19 or the crisis and the quarantine. Unang-una, syempre nandun yung major depressive disorder. Okay? So uso ngayon ang depression. Marami sa atin ang nade-depress. And kung meron tayong history of depression dati, it may just recur at this time during the quarantine. Another thing is the anxiety disorder. In Tagalog, anxiety is nervyos. Okay? And dalawang klaseng nervyos o dalawang klaseng anxiety disorder. Yung isa ay panic disorder. Yung isa naman ay generalized anxiety disorder. Anong difference? Ang panic disorder is mga attacks lang. Okay? So siguro once or twice or thrice a day, nag-attack tayo ng anxiety. Pero generalized anxiety disorder is feeling anxious or worried throughout the day. So can you imagine how bad it is for people with anxiety disorder? Bukod dito, many people will now have hypochondriasis. What does that mean? It means that we're scared or we're afraid na baka tayo rin nakaka-COVID-19. Diba? For instance, kung umubo tayo or bumahing when we cough or sneeze, or when we feel matamlay or sluggish, we might feel that we have COVID-19. This is what we call hypochondriasis. Diba? So in the picture, you can see that there's this healthy man, pero when he looks at himself like he has illness. And now we have OCD, obsessive compulsive, or the fear of germs, germophobia. Diba? That's the reason nga why we bought a lot of alcohol. Diba? We went panic buying for alcohol because we want to disinfect everything. Kulang na lang we take a bath in alcohol. And I wouldn't be surprised if many of you are spraying yourselves with alcohol.
So tendency is to get paranoid.
We get paranoid.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Irish, it looks like you're experiencing that a little
Hindi
bit.
naman. Hindi
Okay.
naman. Meron lang sinusunod ng mga precautions, of course.
Yes. Well, the truth is, even I bought a lot of alcohol. Okay. Yes. And lastly, because we're stuck in our houses, we can experience addictions. Some of us, like here, will experience substance addictions. We'll be smoking more, drinking more. Why? Kasi smoking, we usually smoke more when we're stressed and worrying. Di ba? So yung mga nagka-cancer break, in the office, di ba? When they're smoking, they're actually worrying. Alcohol. Why will people resort to alcohol when they're worried? Kasi alcohol temporarily dissolves problems while you're drunk. But when you become sober again, the problems come back. Here naman, we can see that many kids or many adults will resort to gadget addiction. Siyempre, what else can entertain us now except gadgets? So, the tendency is for us to get more addicted to gadgets. Diba? Another thing, of course, is since we're on the net, many of us will be entertained by porn. So, ang kasunod ng gadget addiction or computer gaming addiction is porn addiction. And another addiction online is social media addiction. So you see, ang daming psychiatric conditions that can occur from the crisis and the quarantine. Okay, now let's talk about mental health symptoms to watch out for. This is a chance for the viewers, to find out if they're getting mentally unhealthy themselves. So what I'd like you to do now is count how many symptoms you have.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So number 1 symptom, nagiging malungkutin ka na ba? Or mas nagiging irritable ka? Or mas nagiging kabado? For our foreigners, are you getting more sad than usual? Are you getting more irritable or angry than usual? Or are you becoming more nervous or anxious than usual? If you say yes, then count 1. Number 2, are you losing your motivation or zest for life, or your obligations? Think about the things that you used to enjoy before. Do you still enjoy it now, or are you losing enjoyment from it? If you say you're losing motivation or enjoyment, count 1. How about this? Na hindi ka na rin ba makatulog ng mabuti? Or yung opposite, sobra ka na ba sa tulog? Tulog ka na lang ng tulog. Okay. Because if you say you can't sleep well or you sleep too much, then count 1 for your changes in the sleep pattern. Now we have a case study. This is Angelina Jolie. See? Do you have changes in your appetite? Like you don't have appetite to eat? Wala kang ganang kumain? Or sobrang gana ang kain mo? Kain ka naman ng kain. If you say yes, then count 1. Irish, alam naman natin, di ba, na when we get bored, one way to stave off boredom is by eating.
Yes.
And I've noticed that in myself. I'm not doing anything. I just eat what there is in my aparador.
Okay.
Another thing is changes in the energy level. Are you feeling low bat, less energetic? Or are you feeling more restless? Di mapakali. Because if you say yes, then count 1 for your energy level. This will be common now. Negative thought process. Are you feeling more worrisome, more insecure, more regretful? Or are bad memories coming back? Are you feeling more guilty, more disappointed, or more frustrated? If you say you're overthinking negative thoughts, then count 1 for negative thought process. How about changes in your self-image? Do you feel less self-confident or have lower self-esteem or self-worth? So you look at this picture. Here's this lady looking at herself in the mirror, and she looks at herself as if she has very low self-esteem or self-worth. Diba? Count 1 if you say yes. And how is your focus, your concentration? Hindi ka na ba makafocus? Or are you getting forgetful? If you're getting forgetful and your focus is suffering, then you count 1. Now, when we say forgetful, I'm not talking about senior moments. I'm talking about you having good memory, pero all of a sudden you realize, teka, my memory is failing me now. I'm getting more forgetful. Okay? So count 1 with poor memory. And lastly, are you entertaining thoughts now of death or self-harm or suicide? Diba? I know that uso ngayon sa mga kabataan, it's very common these days with the young people, self-harm or cutting. Okay, like the one we see in the picture. Now, some people who self-harm, they don't really want to die. But some people who self-harm, they actually want to commit suicide. Okay, so that's a very distressful thing. Count 1 if you have thoughts about these. Okay, you know why I'm asking these questions? Because this is the moment of truth. If you have at least 5 symptoms or more, that means you are a candidate for major depressive disorder. Okay, if you have 5 symptoms and the 5 symptoms lasted for more than 2 weeks, you probably need a consultation with a psychiatrist or psychologist. Okay? Okay, so let's go on. At this time, if I were in a group, I would ask for a raise of hands. How many have 5 or more symptoms? Of course, I can't see the audience. Oh, wow, there's one. Don't worry, Janil, you're not alone. Even I experienced that.
But so far, I have 3 lang. 3.
You have 3.
Mhm.
Good for you. I also want to tell you, Irish, there's what we call this thing called smiling depression.
Mm.
People will never know that they're depressed, but if they go down the symptoms, they actually have the symptoms. Okay.
You wouldn't notice kasi you're always jolly, smiling, ganyan. But then,
Yes. And many are still productive at work. They're
Mhm.
still productive at work, pero they have the symptoms already. Okay, let's go down because it's important. Now, I'd like to ask you, what are the things you can do to cope in this quarantine that we have now? First of all, it's important that you have a schedule for routines and tasks. Dati, when we were still working, we had routines, di ba? Ngayon, we lost our routines. So now we have to create a new norm. We have to come up with our daily routine for the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. Okay? Alam naman natin, an idle mind is the devil's playground. So the less we are preoccupied, the less we can become depressed. Secondly, be as physically and mentally active as possible. So what's the basic minimum? The basic minimum is 20 to 30 minutes a day. Okay. So you don't have to go to the gym. You only have to do your jumping jacks or your marching. And I don't care whether you live in a condo because you can march or do jumping jacks even in the CR. Okay? 20 minutes a day. Ngayon, since we are not doing any too much during the daytime, probably we can do our jumping jacks in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. Okay? Wag lang before sleeping. Thirdly, because we're isolated, we might lose touch of contact with people. So it's important that we say hi and hello to our family and loved ones and our friends through technology. Another thing is, nako, nakaka-depress ang fake news. You know what, Michelle? Irish pala. There's a pandemic going on
Mhm.
in the country and other countries. Pero there's also an infodemic of fake news. So it's important that we choose our sources of factual news. That will be the DOH website, the WHO website, and the credible news organizations. Because if they don't come from them, then we can't trust them. Thirdly, this is easier said than done, pero we can still choose to be happy. We can focus on the positives and stop worrying about the future. Okay. Now, how can we not worry about the future? It's almost impossible.
Yes.
What we can do is we can be proactive in making contingency plans. Okay? When we think of the worst case scenario, let's come up with plan A, plan B, and plan C. That means we're making ourselves prepared for what can happen rather than just wallowing in our worries. Next, in this period of isolation, we can catch up with what we've always wanted to do or need to do. You know what, Irish? I was talking with my brother-in-law, and he was saying, there's so many things that I want to do, but now that I have so much time in my hands, I feel so lazy to do what I'm supposed to do. Di ba? So again, we have to go back to my first tip, which is making a scheduled routine. Let's make a scheduled routine, and then let's stick to our routine of the things that we want to do or need to do. Avoid oversleeping and overeating. I said a while ago, when we have too much time on our hands, this is what we're prone to do. So let's avoid doing this. Next, let's find things that can make us laugh and have fun. You know, now that I'm on social media a little bit more, I see the young ones entertaining themselves very well. They're coming up with challenges on dancing or stuff like that. And now I watch a little bit more YouTube videos that are funny, you know, because one antidote for depression is belly laughter. If you know that your stomach is jiggling when you're laughing, then you know that good hormones are getting produced in your body. So I would advise everyone to go belly laughing. Okay? Belly laughing is easier for those with big bellies. Right. But if you have a flat stomach, you will still be able to belly laugh. Next, find creative ways to help people. Like what I said a while ago, there are always people who are in worse conditions than us.
Yes.
And it's not always about giving money. Because we can give them a simple phone call, hi and hello, di ba? Or we can give food or other stuff to the less fortunate. Like for the person just walking along the street, you know, who is poor, then we can offer them some biscuit or something. But of course, we have to wear a face mask when we give them stuff.
Yes, of course.
Yes. And this is our chance to develop our spiritual life. You know, the COVID-19 virus puts us all into a spiritual angst, a condition of spiritual angst. Why is this thing happening to us? Diba? Why is God allowing this to happen? Is there really a God? Because if there is, why is this happening? Diba? So many questions. This is a time for us to go deeper into ourselves and ask about these questions that we will not even pay attention to if we're so busy with our work. So nurture your spiritual life. And if you notice that you have 5 or more symptoms, then it's good that you get online professional help or telephone help if necessary. At this time, I'm not yet too hooked up with the online counseling, no? Pero later on, I'm going to establish my online practice so that I can help you in a better way.
You should start now, Doc.
Yes, okay. Yeah, Ariva is helping me to become more knowledgeable about webinars and online uh, events and sessions. Hindi ba, Irish, I was talking about developing your spiritual life. So the crisis time should be a time for reflection rather than panicking. Okay. And these are some of the things that I've learned for myself and from others. Number one, life lesson. The coronavirus doesn't discriminate whether you're a man, a woman, rich, poor, young or old. It can afflict anyone. Diba? So now in the news, haven't we heard of politicians or actors getting sick?
And
Of
even
course, we
frontliners.
and the frontliners, you know, these are the people because of their status get into the news. But think about all the other people who are in class B, class C, class D, who are getting sick and dying, who we don't hear about. And I want to tell you again, now there are 2,633 cases. Diba?
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
coronavirus, yes, coronavirus does not discriminate. Be careful. Take care always. Number two, sooner or later, this pandemic was going to happen anyway. Why? Because our lives are so stressful, so disrespectful of nature. Di ba? Look at this in the picture. Just because we have slaughtered so many animals, that's our way of life now eh. We're basically more carnivorous, di ba, than vegetarian. Did you know that the typhoid fever came from chickens? After we've domesticated birds, di ba? And the bird flu, of course. The measles, smallpox, and leprosy had its start from cattle. Itong influenza came from ducks. The whooping cough came from pigs. Tuberculosis came from goats. And the simple cold, you know, came from horses. And now, just because we've become a bit more exotic with our food, eating pangolins and bats, the COVID-19 has spread. So we have to be more respectful of nature. Okay? Life lesson 3. One sneeze or cough can change the world. This is the butterfly effect. Remember? If butterflies are suffering in one area of the world, you know, then it can have ripple effect on the other side, the opposite side of the world. And of course, I'd like you to look at the picture. We don't see this because our sneezes or coughs are invisible. Pero look how many droplets of COVID virus can be enough to infect others. Life lesson 4 is that the crisis time is teaching us to enjoy the slow pleasures of life. You know, we can't go out anymore to tourist spots. We can't go out to the malls. But there are still flowers that we can still smell. You know, the little view that we have outside our window, no matter how tiny, baka there's a little plant that we can see or watch. You know, so we have to go back to the slow pleasures of life. Uh, hindi ba ang uso ngayon is called this thing we call mindfulness.
Yes.
So one mindful activity that we can do is tasting our food more, diba? When we chew our food, Let's learn to savor the flavors. When we look up the sky, siguro we can pay attention more to the clouds and the blueness of the sky. Di ba? This is enjoying the slow pleasures of life. Next, life lesson 5. Let's also realize the COVID-19 pandemic has also resulted in some good. On the left, you'll notice that this is our world before the pandemic. Did you realize now that the skies are a little bit bluer? The stars are coming out a little bit more. Tonight, baka you can go out and look at the skies. You'll see a bit more stars tonight. And if you look at the horizon, they've become much clearer than it was before. This is the yin and yang of life. For every bad, there's good. Pero later on, it'll reverse again. The COVID-19 is going to die out. And hopefully, we don't revert back to this type of environment.
Sabi nga nila, Doc, it's a reset button for us. But
Yes.
when everything's back,
Yes.
siguro it's about time to do the right thing to do. Start
Yes.
a new life, start
Yeah.
the good way, di ba?
You know what? Deep in my heart, I doubt that. Pero there's another place deep in my heart that is wishing, yes, please, sana.
Yes,
Di ba?
we're all hoping for that.
Yeah. Okay, there is power in unity. This in the middle are people who are struck by COVID. Pero here we are, even if we're trapped in our own homes, baka we can still help in some other way. Okay? This one I want to share because this is important. Greed and selfishness are rampant everywhere. Okay? It's a germ, it's a disease that's everywhere. Pero I want to say that even love and compassion naman can go viral. Okay? So right now, look at this. When we look at the news, we distrust our politicians very much. We know that they seem to be doing something good, pero we also know that they may be doing something bad. And so we don't rely on them. We don't rely on the government. If there are some little acts, random acts of kindness that we can do, then let's try to do it. We can go viral too, okay? We can be a good virus to others.
I agree.
And lastly, Irish, I want, before I end my talk, which is quite a short talk, no? I still want to remind people, and I'll never get tired of reminding people and reminding myself to always wash your hands regularly, to always cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Okay? You know, some people tell cough into your shoulders or cough into your elbow. But I also find that unsanitary. But that's less sanitary than coughing out into the air. Actually, I would prefer coughing into one's shirt. At least you contain the virus into yourself.
Like ganyan.
Right, like that. Although now you have to wash your clothes with good antibacterial laundry soap. Okay? And don't touch your eyes, your nose, your mouth. I'd like to remind people, everything you put into your refrigerator, you have to wash. Because if you don't wash and it has COVID-19 on the lata, then you are letting the COVID hibernate in your refrigerator. Next, you should also keep your distance from other people. Diba? We're advised to stay away 1 meter, 3 feet, or 6 feet away from others. And just stay at home and get help if you need it. Okay? So, how will you know that you need help? The basic symptoms are if you're coughing or sneezing and you have a fever and you have shortness of breath, then go to a doctor. That's very important. So, Michelle, that's Irish. That's all I want to say at this time. There are a lot to say, but I don't want to overload our viewers. So I hope you picked up some information from my short talk.
Definitely, Doc. But so now we will be opening our floor for question and answer. But then before that, Dr. Randy, we will be having our 5-minute liquidity break po. So
Okay.
please stand by, sir. And guys, we will be right back after 5 minutes. Don't forget to type in the questions. Yan. Okay, and welcome back. Doc, welcome
Hello.
back. So we're
Yes,
ready
hello,
now
hello.
for the we're ready now for the question. So
Yes.
first, I have a present question here.
Okay.
Okay. What practical activities can frontliners living inside the clinics do?
My goodness. Yeah, you know what? Let me tell you. I can only share my ideas because nobody is an expert in anything at this time. Okay. So hopefully whatever I share, you can kind of modify, revise according to how you can use it. Okay, frontliners. You know, the easiest thing, I usually don't advise this to others, is the gadgets. Okay. You're stuck, you're trapped. Pero with your gadget, you can download some helpful apps. Like for myself, I've downloaded something about baybayin. Okay? Because I'd like to learn about baybayin. So that's something I'm learning while I'm in isolation. Yeah. For you, whatever your interests are, baka you can download some apps that will be good for you. Another thing, Ariva is going to come up with a series of seminars. Of course, even if you're a frontliner and you're free, of course you can join the seminars. So that's a good thing.
As a netizen.
The way to do that is to stay being a netizen. Just stay at your house to lessen other people's anxiety. The other
Sometimes
thing,
kasi may nagpo-post ng mga bad vibes post, yan, mga
right.
negative post.
Yes. So something that we can do is, baka we can single out specific people that we can send our good messages to. Okay? Kasi you know what? For me, no, if you send me a post that's general, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't care too much about it. Because it's not for me anyway. Eh. But if you single out, oh, Irish, this is a message I'd like to share with you. It's a special message for you. Oh, the more you pay attention to it, di ba? So these are little acts of kindness that we can
Yeah.
do.
Okay, I agree. So, most of the attendees now, Dr. Randy, are HR professionals. So, I have a question here from Chrisfel Ann. Hi,
Yeah.
Sir Randy. Thank you for the wonderful talk. My question is, what are the necessary steps to do when your employee found out that he or she has these five symptoms? As an HR of the company, how can we help our employees experiencing this depression?
Okay. Number one, I think it would be good if you approach the person yourself. Kasi if you approach the person, it means that you are caring. Okay? And it also improves the company culture kasi it's a culture of caring if you approach the person. Pangalawa, when you listen to the person, uh, don't be judgmental. Remember, the person does not want to get sick of depression. So it's not his or her fault. Do not give quick or pat advice. Tayo nga, ayaw natin ng taong nagbibigay sa atin ng advice, di ba? When we have a problem, actually, what we really want is to be listened to, not given advice. So let's just listen non-judgmentally. Thirdly, you can offer encouragement and you can offer practical steps, di ba? It's like advice rin, pero it's not pat advice. Kasi practical advice is more appreciated than pat advice. Pat advice is something like, oh sige, let's pray. Oh sige, let's just choose to be happy. Those are pat advice. They're not practical or specific. Another tip, if you're helping out a depressed employee, make sure that you get help for yourself. Kasi ang depression ay parang coronavirus. Nakakahawa ang depression. And another tip I can give you is, if a person talks about death, self-harm, or suicide, do not keep it to yourself. Because if you keep it to yourself, then you are an accomplice if that person commits self-harm or suicide. So make sure that you share it to his or her family member so that the responsibility is placed on the family member and not on you.
So another question, Doc. This is from one of our international attendees. I'm on meds already for depression. Attacks are vivid and just can't can take meds as it is not available in the market. What should he? Ano po yung pwede niyang gawin?
Oh, I'm very sorry for you because you're not able to buy your meds now.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah. So what can we do? Let's see. It's very important to keep on following up your drugstore if there are available medications because you really need it. In the absence of medication, I'll, I already shared with you some natural therapies. Okay, the vitamins, magnesium and zinc and calcium, relaxing teas. If you can buy melatonin to help you sleep, if you can use YouTube as a resource, okay, you can research on hypnosis for depression and anxiety. You can research on EFT, emotional freedom techniques for depression and anxiety. And you can watch funny videos.
Okay, another question from our Zoom chat. I have employees stuck in homes that are small and not conducive for work from home setup. Sometimes being with family adds stress and affects
Yes,
work. How they
right.
can best address it? given the fact that they cannot leave that environment?
Okay. Because they live in small places, like me, I live in a room. Okay. But thankfully, I live alone. If you live with other people, now you have to come up with some emotional walls or emotional blocks. Okay. What does that mean? That means that try to have minimal contact with the people in your room. Okay. If you communicate with them or talk to them, keep it civil and respectful, and then go back to your own inner space again. And then distract yourself with the things that you want to do or need to do. There's no other way. Keep emotional distance and keep to yourself.
Okay.
And if you can go out, just if there's nobody loitering in the hallway, then just stay there, but wear your mask.
Okay. Next question from Ronald. Hi, Dr. Randy, can we invite you as a resource speaker for the company, for our company, for a talk about mental health awareness campaign?
The answer is no, if it's going to be live. but if it's going to be online, of course, yes.
Yes, you can message me. You can message me, sir,
Yes, and
916-6954-418. Yan, we will connect you with Dr. Randy.
Irish will be helpful in connecting us together.
Definitely, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else? Any questions, guys? Right now, hello to the people, to the NIDEC, Siemens Inc. Hello, I miss you guys. So type in your questions here so we can entertain it and address it. Sa'yo, Doc, meron bang mga questions dyan sa chat mo?
Yeah, there are. Wait, how do I get this? Okay.
Click on the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, you have mentioned earlier that different people deal with ECQ differently. But do you have any general advice on how people can readapt back to reality? Everything I've said will help you get back to this new reality. Diba? This is a new norm and we're all struggling. We're all groping in the dark. And we just have to tough it out. It's like passing through the fire or passing through the darkness and groping. Pero as time goes by, we're going to settle back in. So we just have to trust the process. And the process is we have gone through several hells in our life and we have all survived. We are all alive up to now. So we're going to still triumph over this. Let's just wait a little bit longer and things are going to settle back into a new reality.
Okay. Any more questions?
Yes, there are a lot. Based on our daily schedule as head of the family, I am going to announce tomorrow that each one should stay at their room after lunch. And no talking, making noises until 5 p.m. prayer. Is this okay? It appears that the long time of togetherness, nagkakainisan na.
This from Ms. Vivian.
Yes.
One of our partner speakers.
That's what I'm saying eh. It's easy to say, oh, magmahalan tayo. Now is the time to magmahalan. Pero we're getting into each other's nerves. Because Irish, the truth is, the space that we have dati when we're working makes us long for each other. Pero now that there's no more space, we're getting irritated with each other. So I would say that Miss Vivian, this is an experiment that you're doing. Test this experiment if it works. If it doesn't work, then make another experiment.
So okay. I have one question here. How do we console the management of the company? They are stressed due to the economic and financial conditions.
I offer no advice because I'm in the same boat, and we're in the same boat. We manage our own companies. I have a little company, and I'm as lost as you are. What has helped me actually is to help them is really to talk with my employees individually to reassure them that as soon as the company picks up, we're going to take care of them. And if the company has some things that may be some resources to help them, then we're going to give it to them. But as of now, we're all struggling together. So it's good for the employees to know that everyone, even the top brass, is struggling, but is still seeking out to help the employees. Baka that will help them.
Okay. Here's another question from Russell. She is from Honolulu. How to handle or approach the emotional crew? So probably she is a manager.
How an emotional crew?
Mhm. How to handle or approach?
Talk to them as a group and then talk to them individually. So it's divide and conquer. Because if you're able to calm them down individually, then they'll be calmer when they talk to others. Okay, so divide and conquer and set an example.
So another question, Doc Randy from Roan. Actually, this is connected with the prior question. How do I help manage my staff's anxiety and stress when I am also anxious and stressed? Doble.
Meron na siyang anxiety and then
And
what?
how can she handle the anxiety and stress of her staff?
Of the staff.
Doble, oo.
Right. So you have to act as if you're not anxious or stressed.
Kailangan
Express to
maging
them.
composed.
You have to be composed, but also tell them that you're acting composed. Okay? Because they have to relate with you. Because if they think that you're dealing with it well, they won't be able to relate with you. But if they see that if they know that you're anxious and stressed and you're setting that example, then that's how you can probably help them.
Okay. Another question from Maya De La Rosa. How do you help a PUI, PUM, or COVID positive patient? So I think what advice can you give them?
I can give bad advice. So bad advice is just encourage them, send them messages, send them notes, let them know that you're praying for them. If you can find out their favorite music, share it to them. Find out their favorite movies or type of movies, films, you can send it to them.
Okay.
Diba?
Any more questions?
Dito marami. I have 20.
Sige, sir. You can read it.
I have 115.
Oh, wow.
Sir, you've mentioned earlier that different people deal with ECQ. I have asthma, but it only attacks whenever I have cough. Recently, the difficulty of breathing occurs almost every day, and I think this is not because of asthma. I also feel nervous all the time. Okay, so I want to tell you that asthma can be a psychosomatic problem. Asthma is not only a physical thing, it can be aggravated by emotions. So to control your asthma or your coughing, you have to kind of keep your emotions at bay. How do you do that? Yung mga tips na nasabi ko kanina, yung YouTube videos, breathing, vitamins, etc.
Okay.
And I hope just because you're coughing, I hope you don't think that you have COVID-19 if you are isolated. Okay.
We have a question from Sir Egay Valmorida. How can we help healthcare workers with their own anxiety? How do we encourage them to continue helping and not lose hope? My daughter is a nurse and she gets afraid sometimes. Ito yung mga frontliners natin.
You know, for me, give them a personal message. Yeah. Because it really doesn't matter if it's a general message. I mean, what's a hi and hello? Pero, hello, Irish, you know really speaking to you. So make it personalized. If you know the friends of your daughter, send them personal messages. They'll really appreciate that.
Okay. We have a question here from Facebook. How to manage the paranoia experience by each Filipino families?
I won't take away all the paranoia because the paranoia is helpful for us. Because if we're not paranoid, we'll go out into the streets. I mean, even me, no? Sometimes I get too relaxed. So when I'm in the grocery, sometimes I'm very near people and I'm not too scared. But so I'm telling you, keep some of the paranoia. Now, if I also have to tell you that I wish we could reach out to the government to let them do their part. Kasi panic is also a result of the government not reassuring us too much. If the government is giving credible reassurance, then the people will kind of be allayed in their anxiety. So let's reach out to our government to do their part.
Okay. Another question from our FB Live. This is from Sir Rab. Hi, Sir Rab. How are you? I am Rab Besas, an entrepreneur from Dumaguete. I've been through anxiety and depression more than 4 years ago. What I can recommend is to search for a specific meditation. Anxiety varies. One of the best coping mechanism of anxiety is to go back to your inner self. Take time to meditate and do the stop all mechanism, which means no gadget and no work. It's like you have to spend more attention towards your inner self. Just put your focus on what's happening in your surroundings. Just imagine that you are living your life as if it's only you. God and nature and exist. It helps and practice gratitude on the things that you see in the present moment. It takes a long practice, but it's achievable. Sorry, it's not a question, but it's a sharing me, Sir
Yes.
Ram. So thank you for that, Sir Ram.
Mr. Rab, you're already doing your part in decreasing the anxiety and paranoia of people by sharing your experience. So thank you very much.
So I have here another question. This applies to me also. From Rhea, every day we heard news about COVID-19 issues. I could not help but think negatively, especially when I heard negative things from TV and social media. Sometimes when I don't feel well, I start to panic, and I always relate those things to the ongoing pandemic crisis. How can you help me on this?
Yes, a while ago, I was sharing, uh, just listen to the news once a day. Okay? Perhaps you can listen to it in the evening kasi the whole news is already recapped at the end of the day. Rather than always tuning into news reports and then your mind is always preoccupied by negative things. So in the evening, after listening to the news, go to YouTube, magpa-happy so that you sleep having happy thoughts rather than the news is on your mind when you sleep. Okay?
Okay, so we have last one question.
There are
From,
many, yeah.
you have questions pa, sir?
Hmm.
Sige. You have dyan sa chat box mo. You can read it, sir.
There are many. Would you like to share na lang? Kasi there are many eh.
Sige po. You can choose one.
Okay. Basically, how do we snap out of depression? You cannot snap out of depression if it is a major depressive disorder. So do not tell people to snap out of depression. You can snap out of sadness, but you cannot snap out of depression. If you have 5 symptoms or more, it is an illness, so you cannot snap out of it. You need treatment.
Okay, I have here from Miss Juliet sharing also. I am Juliet, share ko lang din. I think we should also avoid sending fatalistic messages. Some people don't have the same mental strengths as you. Instead of helping, you could activate pathologies such as depression.
Uh, you might make people raw more sick if you give
Mm-mm.
fatalistic messages. Right. So
So,
choose. Be happy. Send happy messages.
okay. Hi, doctor. This question is from Chris. Hi, doc. What activities can you recommend to be implemented, especially to the youth after this ECQ?
For the youth kasi are very resilient. They're very creative in distracting themselves. So if they are distracting themselves in a positive way, just allow them to distract themselves. Sabi ko nga, on social media, there are a lot of people now doing these challenges. So allow them to do that if it's good anyway. Yeah. The other thing is use the time for them to learn something new. So let them download some apps or watch some learning videos on uh, the internet.
Okay. Any more questions, guys? We have room for another last one question before we end this session. Guys, you can type in your questions here. You can you can click the raise button below for live questions. We can still entertain it. For those of you who wanted to reach and connect to Dr. Randy, you can contact me at 0917 698 0916-695-4418. Ayan, nakalimutan ko na wala yung number ko. Yan. Okay?
Yes. Hi, Abigail. She raised her hand.
Yan. We have a live question. Hi, Miss Abigail.
Um, can I just ask, well, some colleagues as well, the question on what will be a very good debriefing activity once we go back to office?
Yes. The very basic debriefing activity is let people tell their own stories. Okay? So unang-una, but they have to be limited in time eh. Like the first question is how are you? 'Di ba? And how was it for you? And then so how are you? Kamustahan? Number 2, what were your greatest difficulties? So everyone can relate to each other. Thirdly, what helped you? And how are you coping now? So these are basic questions for debriefing. They'll enjoy it that when they get together, they'll be sharing. So please do that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Abigail. So any more questions?
Jose
I think we
Bernardo
have
Mariano
some.
raised the hand.
Okay.
But how do I get this question?
We have another live question.
What can you? Okay.
Yes. Are we ready?
Me, you mean?
Anyways, before that, sir, I have a question here. Any tips for extroverts who are cope up at home, most especially those who are alone? Ayan. For the extroverts, sir, what can they do?
No other thing except mainly social media, and then actual calls. Okay.
Reach out to relatives, friends.
Yes, yes. So actually, we were complaining of too much social media before, pero ngayon it's going to be helpful for us.
Okay. Are we ready now for the live question?
Hello, Doc.
Yan.
Yes,
Yan.
Sir
hello.
Jose Bernardo.
Hi, Doc. Doc, question lang.
Yeah.
Wait lang ah. Yung question ko kasi, for those who are used to working in the office or field, what
Mm,
concrete ways may we execute to keep the separation between work and house mindsets? Because they tend to overlap given that we are working, yet we are in the confines of our houses. So, di ba, Doc, pag nasa bahay ka, parang,
yeah.
syempre, iba yung mindset mo, iba yung
Right.
set of things that you have to prioritize.
Yeah.
However, parang when you're at work, iba rin yung mood mo, iba rin yung
Right.
approach mo. So how do we keep that separation, given that we are
Yes.
working within our houses?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to ask you, do you live in a house?
Yes. So I'm
Yeah.
with my family. So for example, for these types of seminars, I have to find a place kasi mamaya biglang tatawagin ka na lang, ganun.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we also do con calls then, and yun, it's parang I'm just having a hard
Yeah.
time to keep those mindsets apart from each other.
Right. Yeah. What you're sharing is something that's common to many people. No, like even me, I live in a room, so I have no choice except to work in my room. And think about all the other families who just live in a room. It's so difficult for them. Pero what I can share no is perhaps you could give yourself an illusion of separateness. Okay, so how do you create this illusion? Perhaps you can find a corner and then you can put up some divider, and then that's the only place that you can work. No, home stuff are to be done in that area. In fact, if you have the luxury of having another computer, perhaps you can use your work computer in that small corner. So it's like when you're in that corner, you're already associating yourself to be in another world. You're not inside your house. You're in that corner. You're in a work corner.
So Doc, parang may isolation ka na lang that you want to establish with yourself.
Right. And then you can put a barricade there saying nobody allowed while I'm working.
All right, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Basically,
Thank you, Sir Jose.
yeah. Basically, what will create the distance, no, it's not our physical separateness. It's our mental uh, sense of illusion nga that this is our area, this is our workplace. So we have to create that sense of illusion.
Okay. Any more other live questions? We're going once, going twice. Any more questions? Okay, and that's it. Thank you so much, Doc, for that
Okay.
wonderful session that we just had, and hope that we can invite you again for future e-learning sessions. Thank you so much. We've learned a lot from you.
Yes, and Ariva has done its part in reaching out to people who are depressed with this seminar. Yeah. One day I'm going to set up my online thing, and I'm going to help people like you.
Wow,
Okay.
that's great to hear. Thank you, Doc.
Sige,
Ladies and
Irish.
gentlemen, Dr. Randy Dellosa. Thank you so much. Okay. Before we end our session, I'd like to acknowledge, of course, our win-win sponsors. Of course, we would like to acknowledge our official media partner, Art Plus Magazine, digital media partners, Focus Media, Globaltronics, City Advertising Ventures, Alcom. For the win-win partners, thank you to Brother, Del E, Dong A, CSC, Shiny, Faber Castell. Thank you also to Ardent World Inc., Moringa O, Gluta-C, and Gluta-C Kojic Plus. Thank you also to Megrhythm, Jurgens, and Lisey. Thank you to KFC, Mr. Donut, and Tokyo Tokyo. And of course, ang napakasarap na Lotus Biscoff. Okay, for our don't forget to like our Facebook page. It is Ariva Academy Philippines Inc. So scan this QR code and it will be directed to our Facebook page. So don't forget to like it. Next, for upcoming online learning sessions, don't forget to register. This will be on Monday. Ayan. We're very excited to have, of course, our partner speaker, Mr. Jonathan Yabot. He'll be discussing how to manage your visibility while on a work from home arrangement. This will be at 4 to 5 p.m. And on the next day, that will be on Tuesday, April 7, this is good for the managers. Yan. Leadership in time of quarantine, how to manage and develop remote teams. Remind ko lang kayo, this is all for free. So register now. This will be on April 7, 4 to 5 p.m. Okay? Next, we have invited a life coach and a motivational speaker, Coach Bam Santiago. He will be discussing strengthening positive beliefs and tapping into courage. That would be on April 8, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Same time. Next, of course, Coach Bernard Marquez. He is one of our partner speaker. He will be discussing how to be a strength-based parent. This is good for the parents, working mom, working dad. Ayan, especially nowadays, nakasama niyo mga kids niyo. Unlock your children's potential by helping them build their strengths. This will be on April 10. Next, we will be having Mr. Eric Diaz. He will be discussing resiliency-oriented practices for business survival. That will be on April 13. Next, we have the international speaker, Mr. Chris Randolph. What should sales executives be doing to generate sales now and after the lockdown? Wow, interesting topic. That will be on April 14. And of course, tamang-tama nowadays, we will be having KonMari method, declutter your space, spark joy in your life. We will be inviting Ms. Renalyn Tan Casillejos, and she is a certified KonMari consultant. Okay? Ito tamang-tama ngayon, kailangan natin. From SSS, Social Security System Members Assistant on COVID-19 Impact. This will be on April 16, and we will be inviting a spokesperson from SSS, and that will be Mr. Jomer C. Gonzalez. Okay, another topic from Mr. Eric Diaz, that would be on crisis management in times of COVID-19, April 17, 3 to 4:30 p.m. Another topic, that would be ensuring adaptive capacity and business continuity in times of crisis. This will be on April 20. That's going to be on Monday, of course, from Mr. Eric Diaz. Don't forget to register, guys? So this is it. Thank you so much for being with us and hope to see you on Monday. Again, this is Irish Malonde Samson. In Ariva, it's all being better. Keep safe. Keep safe, guys. Stay home.
Happy, sha-la-la. It's so nice to be happy, sha-la-la. Everybody should be happy.